Billy Epphart here, and we're talking about what I like to call the advantages of investing in real estate, or really why I like real estate. And so we've given you, if you've been following the vlogs, or if you haven't, you can go back on the website, YouTube, or wherever and see the other ones. But today we're talking about what I call, this will be number 4 in the list of series about why I like real estate, or the advantages of investing in real estate. And the next one, this will be number 4, is actually what I call using other people's money, or we may call it the ability to be able to use creative financing when it comes to investing in real estate. So there's kind of a combination here, and here's the thing. Think about it this way when we talk about what we call OPM, or other people's money, or what we call creative finance. Think about it this way. Think about this. If you go to the bank to try to borrow money, and let's say you want to do a car loan. Well, the bank, of course, will look at your credit or your credit score, and then they'll, of course, look at the vehicle you're trying to buy, and they'll determine the value of that vehicle, whether it's new or used, and then they will loan you a certain percentage. So in some cases, if you have a really high credit score, they may loan you money for a car with a very minimal down payment, for example. But if you go and ask the banker what's their favorite kind of loans to make, well, they will tell you just generally across the board, their favorite loans are real estate loans. And the reason they like to lend on real estate is because real estate is what we would call a hard asset. In other words, it's worth money, and typically real estate does not go down in value, just typically. And so a bank, if you go to a bank and you want to buy your own home, there's actually money out there that you can actually take for, in some very limited cases, you can get 100% financing in some cases with a 3% down payment, some 5, some 10, which I said in the other vlogs. But here's the key. They'll loan you money to get it. Now, you come in with any other kind of asset, let's say a business that you want to purchase, or for that matter, stocks and bonds, they will have you put a much greater percentage down, or they do what we call loan to value. They'll say, I'm only going to loan you 30% or 40% of the real value. It just depends. But in real estate is one of the only assets out there that'll actually loan you almost 100%. So think about that for a minute. Now you say, well, that's just your opinion. No, go talk to people. Go ask bankers. Go talk to people that do loans. Find out what they like to loan against. I can tell you now, it's real estate, and primarily it's residential real estate. If you start borrowing on commercial real estate, they want to see that you know what you're doing a little more. But residential real estate, people buy it every day. In fact, for some of you watching, I'll just give this as a nugget. If you're just getting started, for some of you, this is a nugget worth watching the vlog for. Did you know that you can get that really favorable financing, not only on a single family house, but on a duplex, a triplex, and a fourplex? You can actually get on only 4 units, but you can go up to 4 units with just normal, what we call normal mortgage personal financing. It's incredible. And so you can live in one of the units, right? It's called an owner-occupant financing. You can live in one of the units and you can rent out the other 3. It's absolutely incredible that you can get that kind of favorable financing. And so one of my favorite tools in the beginning when I started investing in real estate was to buy duplexes. Now, most of the time, whenever I did that, I always did it more as what we call an investment type loan. But for you that are watching and just getting started, I can tell you we have many, many students who go in and buy their first home as a duplex, get what we call mortgage financing, and are able to rent out the other side. And then when they get ready to move up, they'll rent out both sides and go buy a new home for themselves. So the point is this, is creative financing. So let's talk about that for a second. Well, the first one is that we talk about, you can just get a regular mortgage loan, right? So you can go in and just say, hey, here's my income, here's my credit score. I want to purchase this duplex, triplex or quad, or you can do it with a single family home. And then later when you move out, you can rent the home instead of selling it. So financing is pretty easy. But the other reason when we talk about other people's money and creative financing, there are all kinds of ways to purchase real estate So the most obvious, for example, is to go get a mortgage loan on the real estate. Now, another way to do it is you can actually get private financing. And what that means is that you can go in and find somebody that'll actually loan you up to 80 or 90% on a property. But you know why they do that? Because they will take what we call a first mortgage on that loan. They make sure that you put a little money in, 10%, and then you can go find private investors, because then they may charge you just a little more. Now, this is not what we call hard money. This is just private financing, where somebody will come in and maybe charge you, at the time of the recording that we're doing this, maybe 4, 5, or 6% annual interest. And so here you are, you didn't even have to go through the whole credit score thing, because you actually are purchasing a good piece of property, for example, you're going to live in, and there's people out there that are willing to loan to you privately. Then there's what we call hard money loans, and there's a lot of that right now in the market at the time I'm recording this. And usually hard money lenders will charge you anywhere from about 8 up to 12%. There are a few exceptions that go as high as 16%. So this is not the kind of loan you want to get when you're going to stay in the house and you're just going to live there. You don't want to pay that kind of interest. But if you're flipping property, and let's say you pay 12%, sometimes they'll charge you as much as what we call 200 basis points, or 2% up front. So you may end up really paying around 14%. But watch this. If you buy the house and you sell it if you purchase it, rehab it, and sell it within 60 days, then really you're only paying about 3% on that money, maybe 3.5% on that money. You're not paying the full 14 or 16%. And why? You say, well, why is that? It's because you actually borrowed the money, but you're paying it off much quicker. You're paying it off in 60 to 90 days, and therefore it's not the full annual percentage rate that you have to pay, because you paid it off quick. So it's not costing you that much. And so that's another way. Another way is just to do lease options. You can go in and negotiate a deal. In fact, just so you know, I've done it recently on a $21 million property. And we did it with a lease option that we agreed to pay a certain amount down for 3 years. At the end of 3 years, the property actually went to what we call an installment agreement, which was where the owners actually got what we call the deed to the property, and the people selling it got the deed of trust. So I've done it on everything from a $50,000 single family property to several kinds of commercial buildings, multifamily. Just recently, in the last year, I've done it on a $21 million property at the time that we're recording this. And so I just want you to know there's all kinds, and I'm only listing a few. There are many, many ways to do creative financing on real estate. So this is one of the reasons I like it. You can get to use other people's money, and then you can structure around it in all kinds of different ways about how to do it. If you'll follow some of the other vlogs and some of the other things we've written, you'll be able to see some of the many ways where we talk about creative financing. So this is Billy Ephardt. Thanks for watching. I'll see you right back here.